Hi, my water risings. If you are new here, I am the Tarot Dragon, and on this channel, I like to do tarot card readings whenever I feel called to do them. So in today's reading, we are going to be looking at whether your wish will come true or not. So the way that we are going to break down this reading is we're going to start off by looking at what your wish actually is and looking at just kind of what's going on there in your heart and what you want. And then we're going to see if your wish will come true and when. And then we're going to use the tarot cards to see what else you need to know about this wish, anything you can do to prepare for it, and also to answer some questions or some gaps that we see in the first two sections. So before we get into it, I just want to say thank you so much for being here and for choosing to check out my channel if you're new, or for coming back if you've already been here before. And I really hope that this reading resonates with you and you find something here. And if there's anything that doesn't resonate, just feel free to discard that. So to begin by what your wish truly is. Oh, I didn't know you got two of these cards. All right. Well, lucky you. So to start, we have Cosmic Womb, the Divine Feminine. I'm going to take it in reverse, but I don't remember if let's see, maybe the whole deck is reversed. No, it's not. Okay, so we're going to keep that in reverse. We have the Wall, Obstacles, Upright. Really interesting cards. They kind of look similar in terms of like the way it's drawn, but they're just like two different color schemes. Well, one is really light and the other is like darker. We also have Man Holding a Heart. We have the Moon with cycles. Oh my gosh, okay, very interesting. So maybe Cancer and Pisces, you might be specifically the ones watching this, Cancer and Pisces risings. But if you're Scorpio rising, don't feel left out, okay? We're acknowledging you here too. We love a Scorpio rising, we do. I love one at least. We have Love, oh my God. And we have the Octopus, okay. Wow. Well, one thing that's interesting already is this adds up to a 9, this is a 10, and this adds up to an 11. So 9, 10, 11, and we have a 6, which is kind of random, but it's okay. What is your wish? Well, first I want to fix these cards because I don't like the way that they're set up, but your wish is definitely, it's definitely interesting because I think that your wish is for, let me just put these cards in a way that I feel like makes sense. Because I want to make sure that they're apt. They're like laid out the way that they feel right. I want to start with this Octopus card because, and I always interpret these animal spirit cards, however, like I base them on my intuition. And I feel like people do not give you enough credit for how smart you are. Like, you're a little smarty pants. Like, you're very wise, and you're like actually, like, you're book smart for one, but I also think you're probably quite wise as well. And I don't think people give you enough credit for that. People might think that you're a bit of a like, when people see you, they might feel like you're kind of all over the place, like you're a bit scattered. You might be someone who's not the most organized, maybe like your notebooks are kind of messy, or your room has some things like just kind of laid out everywhere, which is not a bad thing. But people might see that and they might think that you're not very smart, but you're very, very smart. And you might multitask a lot, and people think that you multitasking is like a sign that you're like you can't commit to something, or that you're all over the place, but really it just shows how you can do multiple things at once, because multitasking is not easy. Like, we're not, as humans, it's not our best skill to be able to multitask. So the fact that you can do it is definitely impressive. But you're also a genius and you trust your own intuition. Well, I think you trust your intuition when it comes to protecting yourself, but I also feel like sometimes you put up more walls than necessary. You know how octopuses, I think that's the plural, they can squirt out ink to protect themselves, like to blind the other fish or animals that are trying to hurt them. Actually, it might be a squid that does that, but I don't care because I feel like that still resonates with you. I feel like you have a defense mechanism that really protects you from people who want to harm you. But I actually think that it might protect you from really loving relationships as well. I think that your wish is to know when to put the walls up and with whom. Your wish is to be so in touch with yourself that you have your own unique internal compass that guides you exactly where you need to be. You want to be the kind of person that is filled with so much love and that you're around people who are filled with love and it's just a beautiful give and take. Like you have a very idealistic idea of love and romance, which is not a bad thing. I think what you want is just genuine loving connections, which sometimes in our day and age can feel like impossible. And that might be why it feels so idealist with you. But it's actually quite what you want is very normal and very healthy and very human. You want loving connections and you want to be able to give and receive in these connections. I think the one thing that makes it hard though is there's a trickiness here that I'm sensing, at least currently, where again, there's this feeling of, is this my intuition that I'm using to protect myself, or is this fear? And that's what you're learning to kind of go back and forth with. I don't so not to be like a goofball, I don't really know where the octopus's brain is located. Probably here, but it's interesting that there's a rainbow here and the rest is like black and, well, it's white with like black spots. Um, but usually when we talk about the intuition, we talk about it being located in the heart area, right? But I wonder if for you, your intuition is more like if you resonate with the chakra, like with chakras, it could be like in your third eye or crown. That's where you feel your intuition. Like you might feel your intuition as like a mind thing or located in your mind or in your brain and not like your heart or your gut. Um, but I feel like this just goes to show how smart you are. Like perhaps for you, your intuition, oh my goodness, you've been able to confirm your intuition through things like psychology, or like maybe you really study you might study psychology, for example. And so when you like you could have always had this feeling that people who act in a certain way are actually maybe a certain behavior is really toxic or really shady, and then you learned something in psychology that confirmed that or something like that. It seems like you confirm your intuition through your studies or um through like non-spiritual stuff. um oh my, okay. Yeah, your wish is so clear. Your wish is just for love. Like you want relationships, and you don't want to, like, you want to be able to give a lot to those relationships too, because I think this is who you want to be. You want to be somebody who can provide so much to the people in your life, and you also want to receive so much in your life. You want to understand your emotions really well and to be understanding of other people's emotions. You want to be able to put up boundaries, not walls. But the hard thing is that you don't know exactly what is it that's a boundary and what is it that's a wall. I think sometimes you feel like a turtle that's not in its shell. Like you feel like your shell is gone, or you're afraid that if this wish comes true, you're going to feel like a turtle without a shell. You're going to feel just like, and I hate, this is a weird way to put it, but it's like you're just flesh, but there's no like, there's no shell to protect you. This is interesting to see this card in reverse. Yeah, I think one thing that makes it really hard for you to trust your intuition currently, because this is your wish, right? This might be coming true for you slowly, but I don't think it's actually like really showed up for you yet. But I think the one thing that makes it hard is kind of just stating the obvious, but the fact that intuition can't always be proven in real life. So sometimes you get an intuitive feeling that you can't trust somebody, but when you look at their actions and their words, they seem great, but intuitively you can't shake the feeling that this person isn't trustworthy. Or maybe there's a really great job that's being offered to you, but intuitively you just feel like you shouldn't take the job, but everyone else is saying, "Are you crazy? This is offering you so much money. It's right up your alley. It's in your career field. Why wouldn't you take it?" But in your gut, you're like, "I don't know. It doesn't feel right to me." And so that's what makes it hard, is like you can't always tell in real life, um, whether what your intuition is telling you is correct or not, and that's why it's hard. The same could be true with relationships. There could be somebody that has their eye on you currently, and intuitively you're like, "I don't know if I want to be with this person. I don't know, they don't feel right to me. I don't like how I feel when I'm around them." And maybe what your problem, or not what your problem, sorry, one thing that you might struggle with is you might put people on a pedestal or really romanticize people, and maybe that's why it becomes hard for you to trust your gut, because you might fantasize about people a lot, and so then you create this image in your mind of who they are, and you want to trust that image, but it's not quite right. The song In My Head, I think it's called In My Head by Ariana Grande, could be significant, because she talks about that. She talks about how like she sees the good in this person, and she kind of creates an image of them in her mind. And even though everybody else is saying this person's not good for you, she sees them in a really beautiful light. And I think you kind of do the same thing where you really idealize people, um, or on the flip side, you put up strong boundaries, really strong walls, when really maybe that shouldn't be what's happening. I think also too, you might really romanticize the idea of like going through a lot with a partner. Like you want someone that is gonna be there with you through thick and thin, someone that's not gonna leave over, like when there are a few obstacles in the connection. I think you're someone who at your core is very loyal, but also very gentle. Like you feel like a soft-hearted person. You're not the kind of person who wants a lot of problems in a relationship, but at the same time, you're someone who's quite loyal, where if there are problems and you feel like you could work through them, you want to work through them, and you want someone who is as dedicated to you as you are to them. You want to always feel like there's love surrounding you in your connections. But I think what makes it hard for you is you don't always you don't always have proof of what your intuition is telling you, and that makes it challenging. And I think you might also go through a lot of shifts. Like maybe currently in your life you're going through a lot of changes, which is making it hard for you to determine what you even believe. Like I'll give you a perfect example. There was a time where I was going through a very conscious healing period. It wasn't that long ago. It was like a couple years ago. And so every like month or so, I would realize something new about myself, like a new layer, because I had a lot of stuff I was working through. And every time I would unpack something, I'm like, oh my gosh, this changes everything. And so I felt like I was in this perpetual like mold place where I was just being molded into something new, because I kept learning new things about myself, and it would just shift, shift, shift. And I think that's kind of what you're experiencing as well, except the shifts are more internal. Like they're not even that conscious, because already the cosmic womb represents something it's kind of growing internally. It's not like it's very like a subtle nurturing and growth period. But with it in reverse, it makes me feel like it's so subconscious and so low key that you don't even quite realize that it's happening. And maybe that's just saying that like in this situation, maybe in your dream life, like in your wish, you don't want to feel like you're in the dark. You want the changes to be so subtle, or you want the confusion to be so little that you don't even realize it's there. Does that make sense? Like you basically just want things to be very clear and very obvious to you. Because I also sense that if this is also representing your energy along with the octopus, then you're somebody who is very forthright with how you feel. You're not going to wait around. You're going to be honest and say, I am in love with you, or yeah, I really do feel this way, or yes, this is a boundary. You want to be clear because you love yourself and you love your partner, and you want to be honest with them. You don't want to have to hide how you feel. And you don't want to only reveal things in really tiny layers. You want to be like, when you're committed to somebody, you want them to see all parts of you. You don't want there to be these massive walls that you put up. But at the same time, it's like the work that it takes to get to that point with a partner is it's a lot of work, right? I mean, so I just sort of feel like there's this kind of back and forth between, am I being too idealistic with my wish? But at the same time, it's like, you know what your wish is, but it's like, if I'm being honest, I feel like what you want is genuinely just like a solid romantic relationship where you trust this person, where you love who they are, and you're not afraid to, show them off, to be proud of them, to be like someone that you really enjoy being around. And I think you want a connection that is simple, that's easy, that is loyal, where you know that like even if you're having a bad day, this person isn't gonna, walk out on you. Yeah. And I think you want to be incredibly transparent with your partner too. Whoever this is, you want to be at a place where with them, all of your walls come down, and they see you for who you truly are. You don't want to feel like you're hiding layers of yourself. You want to show them everything, all of your different sides, you know? Fun fact, did you know that wait, actually never mind. I don't know if that's true. I feel like no, I don't know if it's true, so I'm not gonna say it because I'm gonna sound like a dumb if I say it. It was going to be a fun fact about the moon, but I'm just going to keep it to myself. Okay, so now that we see what your wish is, we are going to look at whether this will come true or not. So, and when. So to start, for whether this wish will come true, wait. Oh, this is upside down. These are all upside down. So we have the earth element with stability. We have Medusa with rage. Play. Have fun. Celebrate. Don't be so serious. And strangely lonely. Holding on way too tight. Okay. Okay. Wata rising signs. So will your wish come true or not? I think I almost feel like Spirit's saying that's not really the point. There's this message here of like, is your wish going to come true or not? Yes, of course it's possible, because what you're wishing for is not it's not like you're wishing for something that doesn't exist. You're wishing for something that is very possible for you. But I feel like what your guides are saying is like, I feel like what your guides are saying is what you're wishing for, perhaps the way that you're thinking about your wish isn't the way that is the most beneficial. Because maybe for you, for the collective of water risings here, you might be wishing for a specific person or a very specific kind of person, but maybe what you should be wishing for or asking for more of, manifesting more of, and creating more of in your life is the energy of whatever would exist in these connections. So if you're wanting someone who you can show all of your layers to, then instead of trying to manifest that person who you can trust to see all of your layers, perhaps trust yourself to show these layers to others and to have those people honor you. Like maybe the first step for you is showing people the different sides of you and letting them embrace those parts, letting them honor those parts of you. And if they don't, then bye-bye, they can go. You know what I mean? If you're really wanting someone that you can be proud of, a partner that, like, you know, when you take them home to meet your family, you're proud to bring this person home, or you're proud to walk around with this person, then maybe ask yourself, like, how proud are you to be yourself? How proud are you of yourself? How proud are you of your friends? Do you feel, are you happy to surround yourself with the people that you surround yourself with? And if not, is that something you can change, right? I almost feel like, you know, whether your wish will come true or not is really dependent on kind of how you are living your life at this time and in the near future, right? Because when you think about connections with people who are really, like, people who are really going to honor you, who are really going to be loyal to you, it's a big part of it is them and how they're going to treat you, but a lot of it is also yourself, how you treat yourself and how you're going to let them treat you, right? Because if the person you're dreaming of comes into your life, you might not recognize them immediately, right? It takes time to get to know somebody and to show them ourselves and for them to show us themselves. But if you have all these walls up and you don't let yourself be comfortable with people and show your true colors, then it's going to be really hard to build those kinds of relationships. Do you know what I mean? Like it's making me feel like you're pushing your wish so much into the future that you're forgetting how much power you have in your day-to-day life to create this, right? In your present moment. And I think this too, like, I think one thing that might genuinely hold you back is fear. Like, you might be afraid that if you start showing people your true colors, or if you start, you know, kind of creating your dream relationships in your present moment, there's this fear that you might mess it up and it'll completely destroy this dream that you have. But the reality is, like, you can absolutely have really beautiful, wholesome connections. That is possible for you, but it does require work on your part as well. And honestly, sometimes there is some heartbreak that you're going to experience along the way, because sometimes we have to meet people who are just not what we want, so we can see all that and we can be like, yeah, I don't want that, and move on to what really does matter for us. And what really sucks about this is I feel like your protective mechanisms that we were talking about, those walls that you have up, you were not born with those walls. It's not like the turtle where you just have a shell and it's a part of your body. It's like you have defense mechanisms that you put up because you've been hurt before. Because, like, Medusa wasn't just born with snakes as hair that she can use to turn people to stone. That this is something that came along the way. I'm pretty sure it was a curse. Like, she was, I don't know if that's the right word, curse, but like, pretty sure it was Athena that punished her, and gave her snakes as hair. um, which really think about it, like prevents Medusa from ever really building. Well, I don't know all of her lore, all of her stories. Maybe she does have great friends in her life, but it would make it hard for someone to get close to Medusa because she has these snakes that will turn them into stone. Um, it's like you're icing people out. It's making me think of Elsa from Frozen. Like, I think you unintentionally push people away because you're trying to protect yourself. But the problem is, like, these defense mechanisms are keeping out both the really good, loving people and also the toxic people. Yeah, I feel like with this earth element here, maybe the signs, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, that could be significant because those are the earth signs. Um, but the earth element is known for its dependability, for its very substantial nature. Like it has substance, and uh it's stable. Even the cardinal earth sign, Capricorn, which is more of like the beginning, and then mutable being Virgo, which is the kind of like the more malleable, ever-changing earth sign. Those ones are still fixed as well, not fixed. They're still grounded and substantial as well. And I think what you're really craving here, like when we talk about loyalty, I think what you really need to practice in your own life is giving yourself the kind of loyalty, dependability, trust that you're craving from other people. Because I'm telling you, I've recently started to really understand this concept as well. But like what I'm really wanting you to understand is like how you treat yourself really does reflect how you treat others. If you constantly break promises to yourself, if you tell yourself, I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. to work out, and then you don't get up at 5 a.m., or if you constantly make excuses, if you always show up places late, you're going to start treating other people that way too. And you're going to start disrespecting their time. If you tell them, I'm going to meet up with you at 10 a.m. for coffee, you're going to show up at 10:30, because the more that you don't respect your time, it starts to kind of influence how you treat other people as well. It's really frustrating and annoying because sometimes we want to treat people really well, but it's hard. And how we treat ourselves and how we treat others often mirror one another. So I think if you're struggling to find these kinds of connections that really show you the kind of love and dedication and loyalty that you're craving, perhaps ask yourself, how much of that are you giving to yourself? Because even with this play card here, like, I don't think you're having much fun in your current life, like currently with where you're at. I think you're sort of maybe a bit too rigid. Like your walls are keeping out so much love, so much joy. Like I feel like the colors on this card are what I think of when I think of water signs, like water rising signs, or just water signs in general, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. I think of these really pastel pinks and blues and whites and like really happy, just kind of gentle colors. And I feel like you need to embrace your nature more, like embrace who you are and love yourself for who you are, so that when someone shows up to love you as you are, you're not afraid by that. And your wish can come true. You embracing your wish, you creating your wish in your day-to-day life is not going to prevent your wish from coming true. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Um, you're essentially going to be doing what manifestation actually is, which is co-creating with the universe. You're doing your part, and the universe will meet you with their part, and then you'll have what you want. And I think too with this rage card, if the thing that's keep making you keep boundaries and walls with people, not boundaries, but walls, like strong walls with people, and having all of these kind of these defense mechanisms, is the fact that you were hurt in the past, like, it's okay to need to protect yourself, and you should protect yourself from people that are toxic or that are going to hurt you. But also reflect on how well are these defense mechanisms working, and are they working, right? Like, I think if you can be honest with yourself about that, about what works, what doesn't work, that can help you create a more happy life for you, because you deserve to be happy, and you deserve a lot of um you deserve to have the connections that you're wanting, these really happy, just beautiful, loving relationships, because your understanding of love seems really beautiful, like really, really beautiful. Um, and you can have that. For some of you, there could have been like a third party. If you were in a relationship in the past, there could have been a third party uh, who was like sabotaging your relationship, and somehow, some way, you ended up being painted as the bad guy. Um, but that's only for some of you. But I do want to see now, some two cards to look at timing here. So this card on the left-hand side will represent the first timestamp, and this card will be the second timestamp. And we'll just see kind of like what time period is significant for you when it comes to this wish coming true. Oh, by the way, yes, your wish, I guess I never really answered it, but with what I'm seeing, your wish absolutely can come true. But basically, Spirit's saying, create it. Like, do your part. Like, we got you. We'll send people your way that are really amazing for you, and we'll also send people your way that are triggering. But it's because we want you to, like, to know your worth, to learn what traits, what characteristics, what personalities don't work well with you, what traits are toxic. We want you to be aware of that so you can build something stable and long lasting with someone good for you and with people that are good for you, right? Because maybe you'll meet people and you don't want to date them, but you sure as hell want them as a friend, and that's fine, right? So it's like, this can happen, but instead of kind of waiting for it to happen in the future, Spirit's saying, do it now, create it now. You're not going to mess it up. You're going to bring yourself closer to actually getting like your dream partner type of thing. So with the first timestamp, we have, beautiful. We have show the world the real you, full moon in Aquarius. Oh, I love this so much. I really do. I have an Aquarius moon. So, oh my God, I freaking love that. I love that so much. Iconic behavior. We have a 5 here. 23 adds up to 5. 38 adds up to 11. And this is Leo. This would be Aquarius in terms of numbers. So maybe the Leo Aquarius axis is significant for you. And then we have a meditate and contemplate new moon in Pisces. So my little Pisces placements, my Pisces risings, this could be extra confirmation for you. So, wow. Okay. Interesting that this is what we end with. Almost makes me feel like there's not quite an end to this reading or to the timeline. So it starts with you. It starts with you embracing your truest self. It starts with you not being afraid to show people your truth, right? I'm getting this really interesting message here. I'm getting this feeling that for some of you, you have this mentality where it's like you have to be weary of other people. Like, you have to keep who you are close to your chest and have these defense mechanisms. And when people show you like weirdness and you don't like it, just push them away, push them away. But I almost feel like Spirit's saying, do kind of the opposite thing. Show people who you truly are. And when they react to your truest self, then decide whether they're good for you or not. Because sometimes our walls, the walls that we keep up, are toxic to begin with. So healthy people might, like people who really want to be your friend, who are healthy, who have a good understanding of what a relationship should be, when they meet those walls, they're like, whoa, what the hell? Like what is this? Why is there a wall here? And we think, oh, this person's toxic, but they're not necessarily toxic. Maybe the wall that we have up is really blocking us from receiving love. And so what Spirit's saying is like, maybe those walls need to leave for a second. Let's try to open up a little more. Show people who we are. Don't let people take advantage necessarily, but show people who you are, what you're interested in, what your hobbies are. Dress the way you want to dress, speak the way that you want to speak. And when people start to maybe judge you for that, make fun of you for that, now you know they're not for you. Now you know they're not your kind of person, okay? Because it's giving me this feeling of like, it's really not your problem if people don't like you. Like, if they don't like you, oh well, they have bad taste, you know, sorry, we can't help that. Like, you're awesome. That's not, you know, it's not your fault. You're iconic. Like, yeah, so it's kind of like, be like, see your individuality and your unique experiences as a gift, right? Because the people who are going to be your best friend, who are going to love you, who are going to really, really respect you and trust you, they can't show you any of those things if they can't see your truest self. You know, it's kind of like how when you wear a mask, people aren't being your friend, they're befriending the mask that you're wearing. That's why the connection never feels genuine, because they're not friends with you, they're friends with this fake persona you've created. So the same is true when people want to resonate with you and they want to get to know you. Show them who you are, so that when they see you, they can decide if they want to be your friend or not. And likewise with you, you can see the dynamic between your truest self and their truest self, and you can decide, is this something that I want? Because ideally, you want to create a connection that's not only beautiful and loving and sweet and all those things, but also one that's honest and genuine. And with this meditate and contemplate card, new moon in Pisces, like, I feel like one thing you got to know about this journey for you is that it's never really going to end. You know, Pisces is a mutable water sign. Water is already very free flowing, but for it to be a mutable sign is like, it's water that's constantly transmuted, constantly like, it's it's going from one thing into another. It blends well with different things. It made me think of an estuary, which is when fresh water and salt water mix. Like, basically, this journey never really ends because relationships never really stop evolving. Even if you feel like you know your partner so well, there's nothing more to learn. When life events happen the way that they do, and when different things unfold in front of your eyes, you get to know a different part of your partner. So it's kind of like Spirit saying it's never really going to stop. Like, you're never going to stop growing. You're never going to stop discovering new layers to love about your friends, about your partner. So this timeline never really ends. It's just a constant evolution, constant growth, constant learning, and getting to know yourself. And that's a really beautiful process. It's very spiritual as well in nature. So maybe like if you maybe like your spirituality is really important to you, and you want someone who is also very spiritual. But yeah, this definitely starts with like being honest with yourself, with the world, about who you are, and attracting the kinds of people that actually like that version of you, and then growing with them, moving through life with them. This is really beautiful. Y'all are such a cute like collective. So we're gonna put these cards away now. We're gonna get some tarot cards. Spirit, is there anything you want? These cards are already shuffled. I'll shuffle them again in case you wanted to see me shuffle. So I'm gonna see if there are anything else you need to know about this wish. Let's get some specific pieces of advice. Like, Spirit, what can this collective of water rising signs do to be themselves more, to show the world their authentic self? Like, what advice do you have for them when it comes to showing the world their truest self and manifesting this wish of theirs? We have the Ace of Swords. Speak your goddamn mind. That's one thing that's coming through. Like, sometimes you might be scared to speak up because no one else has said the thing that you're thinking yet. It's really easy when someone else says something for us to just agree and kind of add on to it. But I feel like it's harder for you to just be the first one to say something. And as we already saw in the beginning of the reading, you're a smart cookie. I'm just kidding. I hate that saying, actually. But yeah, you are a smart cookie, though. You're very smart and you're wise and you have a lot of really interesting, unique things to say. So say them. Like, let yourself, like, one of the most, honestly, kind of iconic things ever is when you're in class and you're sitting in a big circle and you're doing a discussion and everybody has just been kind of bouncing off the same idea. Like, one person said something and then 3 or 4 other people just kind of keep piggybacking off of it. And then there's that one student who's like, anyway, like, and they bring up a whole new point, like a completely separate point. That is iconic. It's like you're basically being like, okay, this conversation is done. Let's move on to what I want to talk about. That's iconic. I feel like you're being called to speak up more, even if no one else has said the thing that you're thinking yet. Spirit, what advice do you have for water rising signs when it comes to showing the world their truest self? That is way too many. Yeah, that's too many. What advice do you have? What can they do to manifest this wish? We have the 9 of Cups. Yeah. Okay, beautiful. And yeah, so like I said, if you are someone who's very spiritual and you do manifestation work, I think that if you've been manifesting actively, especially if you've been scripting, you know, or speaking your blessings out, like praying and things like that, that's definitely really helping you. And I feel like what I said earlier about recreating the emotion and the energy that you want to experience in these relationships, like recreating that in your current life, is really, really, really useful for you. Because sometimes we can delay our manifestations by always waiting for it and by thinking that life can only be good when that thing comes in. But when you start to recreate and kind of reorganize your life as if you already had that thing, that is when you speed up your manifestation. We also have the 6 of Swords. Okay, let's get 3 more cards. Actually, let's get, yeah, fine. Okay, why not? The Devil. Let's get 2 more. The Page of Swords. And the Hermit. So Virgo, Capricorn. Okay, a lot of earth again. No fire. So we have a lot of air, water, and earth. So what you need to know about this, or not what you need to know, I don't know why I said that, your advice about how you can show the world the real you and how you can kind of speed this process up and bring this manifestation in is, yeah, be open to shifting things in your life. Not only being open to it, but actually shifting things. It's clear that there are some thought processes and like things in your mind that keep you, that prevent you from really opening up to people and having connections. And I don't think that this is really your heart. Like, I don't think it's like a heart chakra blockage or something like that. I think it's just like defense mechanisms and fear. Like, I think you have pain in your past and you have a lot of ideas, negative ideas that keep you in this mentality of, I can't trust anybody. I have to keep walls up. Like, I shouldn't show people who I truly am, you know. I think you hide a lot of who you are. And sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes that could be useful to not show people all of yourself, right? You know, keep things to yourself. That's okay. And sometimes that's a good thing and it's recommended. I guess the issue though is that I think you keep too much to yourself and you don't show people really anything at all. Like, you really, really ice people out. And it's because I think you're scared. And I know, like, I get that, it's hard to let people in when you've been through a lot. Like, it's not easy. But these shifts as well, like, you can always just start making these changes on your own. You don't have to start by asking people to hang out and by really putting yourself out there. Maybe the shifts that you make are more internal. Maybe you start by simply scripting and speaking out your manifestations into the universe, praying for things. Maybe you start off by in private, giving yourself the kind of love and loyalty and commitment that you want from a partner. Because with the Six of Swords and the Hermit, like, you can always start by yourself. You can always start, creating a self-care routine for yourself by yourself. You can start by being committed to a meditation practice that you've created for yourself. You can start by committing to cooking a really nice breakfast for yourself on a Saturday morning. Like, essentially these new changes that you're bringing into your life, they don't have to include other people yet. It can be a solitary activity for now, because the thing is, the universe sees everything, because you are the universe. So just because you're not like out there connecting with people, that's okay. If there's nobody really in your proximity that you feel like you want to be around, okay, that's valid. But that doesn't mean you have to neglect yourself, because you're definitely a very intelligent person, and I think that you have a beautiful gift with communication. Like, you have a way of knowing how to speak your mind. Like, I don't think well, maybe you struggle with speaking, but I think in general, like, you have this ability to, like, always be able to express yourself the way that feels right to you. So use that to your benefit. And with these white flowers here, it's making me think of how speaking clearly and purely is really important when you're manifesting. Like, you want to be clear with the universe about what you want, but you also want to be humble and grateful for what you're manifesting as well. And so I think your guides are saying, like, we want to give this thing to you, but we want to see that you are ready for it. We want to see you loving yourself, treating yourself with respect, and we need you to put your words and your energy out to the universe. Like, we need to know and to see and to feel what this wish is for you and what you're doing to bring this into reality. Because the Nine of Cups is a card of your wishes coming true. So the fact that we have this is pretty powerful. And I'm not going to lie, when I saw I broke the deck and we had the Queen of Wands. Oh, we love that. But, earlier when we had the full moon in Aquarius card, it made me think of the star. And the star, because the star is associated with the sign of Aquarius. And it's also a card that talks about your wishes coming true. So I think that your dreams can come true. Your wish can come true. But it's just a question of, like, how are you going to create this for yourself? Because if you keep pushing this off into the future, you're going to keep pushing it off, right? If you keep saying that, like, if you don't really show yourself love, if you don't show yourself commitment, I think it's just going to push everything back. And it's going to be really hard for you to make friends or to meet people that you could be in a relationship with, because you haven't worked through this core belief that you can't trust anybody and that you need to have really high walls up. And I want to say too, like, there is wisdom, a lot of wisdom and a lot of clarity and just power that comes from working through pain. It's not easy. Like, healing work is no joke. It's really, a lot of the times it's hard work. Like, it's difficult. It's not just shits and giggles. but the clarity you get from it is so useful and beneficial. So I do want to assure you that you're not doing this healing work for nothing. All of the pain you experience and the triggers that are arising for you when you start treating yourself with respect, when you start opening up to people, that is all normal if you've been through shit. You know, you're not crazy. Nothing is wrong with you for having triggers. It's a very human, normal thing. And when you learn to work through these triggers, when you learn to lean into the pain and to see what it's trying to show you about yourself, you will be able to know parts of yourself you didn't know existed. And the clarity you'll gain is so, like, it is something just liberating. That's the only word I can really use. It liberates you. And when you feel liberated, the world feels so much more light, so much more joyous. You feel empowered. And that's what I want for this collective, because you have a beautiful heart. You're just trying to protect it. And that's fine. You should protect your heart, because not everybody's going to be nice to your heart. You should protect it. But don't protect yourself from love. Don't protect yourself from people who want to love you. And I know it's hard because you don't know who's going to be the good person, who's going to be maybe using you or taking advantage. But that's why you got to try and put yourself out there and learn how to trust yourself and your own intuition and your own guidance so that you can feel your way through these connections. You're not crazy. There's nothing wrong with you. How you feel makes a lot of sense. I'm not going to lie. Like, I can totally understand why you have these walls up, why you would rather wait for the universe to kind of bring you somebody and make it very clear that this is your soulmate instead of kind of experiencing life itself. I understand. But it seems like for you, you have to feel your way through. You have to experience this. You have to learn to trust yourself. That is how this is going to unravel for you. So, my God, that was, let me take a sip of some coffee. 1 second. Okay. So, we're going to finish this reading off by looking at some messages from this relationships and love homemade oracle deck that I've created. Please take these messages as they resonate. But Spirit, what else would you like to say to the water rising signs about this wish? What else would you like to say to the... We have, wow, I don't want to be logical about this connection. I want to follow my heart and jump in. This seems like something that, yeah, this is pretty spot on with what we've been seeing already in this reading. It seems like I said, the blockages aren't in your heart, they are around your heart. In your heart, you know damn well what you want, and you want these relationships. It's all the other parts of you that are saying, we need to have our walls up. Ooh, little fuzzy thing. We need to keep our defenses because we can't trust people. But in your heart, like, your heart space is actually really open. We also have dreams. So your dreams, when I saw this, I thought of like the dreams you have when you sleep, not really like your goals and aspirations. So I think your sleeping dreams could be significant. What else, Spirit? What else do you want to say to the water rising signs about their wish and whether it will come true or not? That is way too many. What else do you want to say to the water rising signs about this wish, Spirit? Let's get a few more. Okay. Back of the deck, we have I Hope We Last Forever. Yeah. That's so cute. We have Traitor by Olivia Rodrigo. So this could be a significant song. We have Our Convos Make Me Feel Safe. I love learning more about your intellect. I feel like this could be something you would say, but also something like a partner would say to you, because you're definitely a smart person. But I also feel like feeling safe is something you crave in a relationship. And so I think that the people that you will be attracting once this wish starts to come true are people that you can talk to for hours, that make you feel so safe and that don't judge you for the things you have to say, for your beliefs, for your ideas. These are people that are just like wholesome. We have Text Me. I Want to Be Honest with You. We have I Can't Sleep. I'm Overthinking. Interesting. There could be a person you're already talking to, because some of these cards seem like cards that would represent like a conversation between two people. Please express your boundaries to me. Am I crossing them? Ah, very interesting. Okay, so one thing that you might not realize is happening is that sometimes you might attack people either verbally or like energetically, like you give off kind of a standoffish vibe when somebody is crossing your boundaries. But the thing is, to them, they don't know if they're crossing a boundary or like they don't really understand what's happening, right? It's like you have these walls up, right? But you don't really communicate like where the line is. So sometimes people might say things or do things, and instead of you being like, oh no, I actually don't tolerate that, or no, I don't let people speak to me that way, or I don't like to do this thing, instead of communicating it, you just sort of ice people out. And so they don't know, like, if you just don't like them or if they crossed a boundary. They don't know if there's still hope left in this connection. So perhaps, like, try to communicate better with people about where the boundary is, because I feel like sometimes people just don't know um, if they're crossing a boundary with you. Yeah, okay. I was going to grab a different deck, but I got this feeling that I shouldn't. So I think I'm going to leave your reading here. Thank you so much, my water rising signs, for watching this reading and for being here with me. If you enjoyed this reading and you got something out of it, I would really appreciate if you could leave a like on this video, if you could comment down below telling me how it resonated, or you can subscribe to my channel. And if you don't want to do any of those things, that's totally fine too. I really appreciate you being here in the space with me, and yeah, I hope that you liked this and that you got something out of it, and I hope to see you again here soon. Bye!